we talked in the summer about the whole idea of traveling. Obviously, you did it yesterday. Just curious what that was like. I don't think you did much in New Orleans, you said, right?
Yeah, I mean, you're traveling, you're going up against a receiver or whatever, but I feel like the preparation is the same. You kind of just dial yourself in on one guy and focus on whatever the play call is and executing your technique. But I don't think it's too much into it.
And then just as you go forward, is that something you want that responsibility every week, or do you just say whatever the coaches say?
Yeah, I think you just look at it. You come together with the coaches, and I have confidence in our coaches and the scheme that they have. So whatever they ask of me week in and week out, I'm ready to do.
Gotcha. Thanks.
Thank you.
Charlotte Carroll.
Hey, Paulson, how's it going?
How you doing, Charlotte?
Good. Just after watching the film, what did you see?
I thought on defense we did a lot of good things. On offense we did some good things as well as a team. I think just a little bit some technique stuff and a little bit some detail stuff that we can clean up. But I think we just come in and look at the things we could have did better, focus on those things, and then also keep doing and improving on the things we did well.
Thank you.
Yep.
Brian Dunleavy.
Hey, Paulson, thanks for doing this.
Hey, how you doing, Ryan?
Good. Back to what Dan was asking about the traveling. I understand team-first guys always want to do whatever the team wants. Is there a part of you, though, like the best cornerbacks in this league travel? Obviously, you've got the contract of a top cornerback, too. You're here. You want to prove it. Like, is there a part of you that says, like, yeah, give me the best guy every week. I want that?
Yeah, I think, you definitely want to do whatever is best for the team. So if that's taking out their number one guy into a week and taking on that challenge, then absolutely. And so you just kind of look at if a team has one receiver, two receivers, three receivers. A lot of times, outside looking in, it'll look like, oh, one guy is the guy. But as a football player and knowing that the number two guy is also really, really good sometimes, and the third guy is also good. And so different receivers have different strengths, and sometimes it's a matchup thing, sometimes it's a scheme thing. And so I think you don't want to, get your ego involved in it. Like, I want to take the guy every time. It's more just like, hey, we're trying to win the game. Whatever is needed, we're willing to do. And then, obviously, we trust the coaches, and they have the same kind of mindset.
And then looking ahead to this week, obviously one of the best receivers in the game is on the Cowboys. What's your history from New Orleans with C.D. Lamb, and, what are just your impressions of him as a player? I don't know if you've dived into film, but just over the years.
Yeah, I played against him last year and down in Dallas, and obviously familiar with him, last couple of years and what he's been able to do. So he's a good receiver, great, pretty much an elite receiver, does everything well, runs well, catches the ball well. So somebody you got to prepare for, and then obviously they have a couple other guys as well, Pickens that they have, and some other guys. So it's definitely going to be a full team effort to stop all the guys that they have.
Thanks, Paulson.
Yep, thank you.
Tom Rock.
Two quick ones, if I can, Paulson. The first one, I happened to be on with Aaron Glenn this morning with the Jets conference call, and he was talking about traveling, and he had done it a little bit. He had Sauce do it yesterday, and he said he always found it to be a little easier of an assignment than having to prepare for everybody. I was wondering if you found that to be the case.
I think it's just everything is I think it's on a week-to-week basis. So depending on what receiver you're going up against, depending on what scheme the offense has. I think all the different offenses are nuanced, right? If you're facing the quarterback who stays in the pocket versus one who's constantly scrambling. So a lot of these different things change the dynamics of how you have to prepare. And so you prepare, for your assignment, but the offense as a whole. So I think it just depends.
Second one, you were on a team last year that started out really hot, was kind of the darlings of the NFL for a couple of weeks, and then obviously things took a turn. Are there any lessons you can take from that and kind of spin them towards these Giants, and now that the start wasn't what you were expecting, and that doesn't necessarily maybe set the tone for the whole season?
Yeah, I don't know if it's a lesson that I learned then, but I think just focus on every week, right? We're focused on this week and coming in with the right mindset, doing anything and everything we can to prepare well to be able to execute on Sunday.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
Art Stapleton.
Hey, Paulson, how's it going, man?
Hey, what's up, Art?
I know we keep hitting you with these traveling questions. What I always wondered is that, like, I'm not looking to open up the playbook and you can tell us what the plan is for this week yet, but just in terms of a guy like CD, and there are receivers in this league that love running out of the slot. I'm curious from that perspective, when you're following a guy into the slot, if you do, how does that change your game? Because people have always talked about, the nickel inside. You talked couple weeks ago about Drew and the different responsibilities that are in there when you're inside. So I'm just curious from that perspective, schematically, is that kind of also what you're talking about in terms of, you follow guys, but also you guys may come up with a different plan for different guys week to week?
Yeah, I think as you look at an offense, you try to see how they try to get their top targets the ball, and so you try to come up with schemes and come up with the game plan and be able to stop that from happening. But at the same time, we have confidence in all of our guys to be able to cover, right? So I think that's where you start. You have a bunch of guys that can go out there and line it up against whoever. And then if there's an adjustment that needs to be made and we want to move guys and travel guys, we'll take care of that, with the coaching and all that.
Gotcha. And then the other thing would just be in terms of how do you, I'm sure through every level of football you play or any sport, the idea of balancing urgency. Look, things didn't go well, so we're going to change everything up, versus the patience of, things didn't go well, but we have trust, we have belief. And how do you work that fine line between not doing enough or doing too much? That kind of balance.
Yeah, I think you just stay objective, whether it's a win or a loss. I think you go back and you look at the film the same way week in and week out, and so you're able to see the things that you didn't do well, and you're able to see the things that you did do well, and you don't necessarily rely on the fact that you won or you lost to make your improvements, right? So personally, I go back and I look at what did I do well, what didn't I do well, right? Because teams are going to look at that and they're going to try to hit you on those. So I think you just remain objective as possible, and that's kind of how you do it.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yep, thank you.
Last one, Paul Schwartz.
Hey, Paulson, how are you?
Hey, what's up, Paul?
Hey, all good. I want to ask you, obviously this was not your first NFL game by a long shot, but this was your first NFL game with the Giants. From the outside looking in, sometimes, a guy comes to a new team, he's acclimated, he's on a new team, easy. Is it easy? Did you feel anything different playing in a Giants uniform than you did before that? Maybe that you and Jermon say something before the game, kind of a second chapter of a career sort of thing?
Yeah, definitely coming in and kind of, I also haven't played in however long that was, so definitely just was eager and excited to come out and play. I love playing football. And then to be able to play with all the guys that we have and the energy that we felt on the sideline. So I think all that was just amazing and fun and just a glimpse of what's to come.
Do you, as a defense, as a unit, when you don't stop the run the way you want, how frustrating is that? And is there a sense like they can kind of dictate to us what they want to do because we can't take this away from them?
Yeah, I think just as a defense, when you're not playing as well as you want to, it can definitely be frustrating. But it's all those things that we'll look at and improve.
And one last thing real quick. 21 points is not a lot of points to give up in the NFL. Is that something you and your defensive teammates look at and say, this wasn't perfect and it might not have been great, but it was 21 points against a team that was very high scoring last year?
Yeah, I think when you look at a defense, their defense held our offense to less points. And so for us, it's about beating their defense, right? And so there are things that we can clean up. There's ways that we could be better. So, 21 points is too many points, in my opinion.